it's about 4:30 a.m. and it's a place called Tarn Hows in the English Lake District. Didn't get much sleep last night, so I think I had about 4 hours sleep. So feeling a little bit tired, and sorry for the bags under the eyes. Ooh, and there's a cuckoo calling already. So anyway, it's before sunrise, and Tarn Hows is a couple of small lakes. And what I'm going to do is head down before sun comes up and try and find some compositions. And you can't see it yet because I'm in the car park. There's a nice bit of mist. So get my stuff ready, get my hat on, and away we go. I spent a little bit of time walking around the Tarn, or the lake. I think Tarn's probably Old English for lake or something, but maybe not. But I found a composition I'm quite pleased with. But I've got two options. So there's this tree, maybe it's a Scots pine on this island, which is nice reflection. Looking down across the lake, there's a bit of mist in the distance. The sun, it will come up over there, so there's a bit of colour coming into the sky. But there's also then these two trees here, which are providing a nice bit of reflection. And don't know if you can see it, but there's a nice collection of lily pads, adding a bit of interest on the water surface. So I'm going to work on a couple of compositions. I'll show you now on the back of the camera. The first one I'm working on, I'll lighten that so you can see. First one I'm working on involves the tree on the island, but these two trees, which are here. But when I've taken a couple of those images, I'm going to swing round just onto the tree on the island and do some in isolation. Oh, and look, more geese. Geese seem to follow me around Lake District. Yeah, they're not rowing with each other at the moment, but in the previous video from Crummick Water, they certainly were. So quite like that composition. Also like that composition with just the tree. And I'm a sucker for a nice reflection. There's two options really when I came here. One was to be quite up high because there's a few places, or down at water level, and sorry, there's a big fly on my shoulder. I chose to come down to water level because it's so calm. It's too good an opportunity. The midges are out already. It was too good an opportunity not to take some images at this kind of angle. So I'm going to take some images and then I'll come back to you. So concentrating on the image with the three trees, and I'll just talk you through the settings, using my 17 to 40 lens at the moment, to give me enough scope to get the three trees in. I'm on f11 because I want to get a bit of depth to, particularly because the three trees, so there's 1, 2, 3. I want kind of enough depth to get those three trees reasonably focused. So f11. Sorry, I'm overexposed so you can see, but if I come down, f11, about a 50th of a second, just maybe underexpose a little bit more, just so to pick some of that colour out in the sky a bit better. And off we go. And the fact there's three trees leads me to kind of one of the rules. So I've talked in lots of the previous films I've made about the rule of thirds. But there's also the rule of odds. The rule of odds being, if you're photographing something like trees or flowers or something natural, it's always more pleasing to the eye to have odd numbers. But I don't know, maybe the way the human mind works. So having three trees as kind of the main subjects helps me. And helps create a nicer image, and maybe having the one tree helps. So I'll look at the one tree in a few minutes, but it's just something to bear in mind. It looks more natural to have odds, less regimented. So just kind of bear it in mind when you're looking at compositions, if you've got something like trees, always look for the odd numbers rather than the even numbers. Midges are out already. My enemy. I've done my kind of landscape orientation shot with the 3 trees in. Now I'm switched to a portrait shot with this tree on the island and the lovely reflection. So I'll talk you through the composition and then I'll show you on the camera. But one of the reasons I wanted to talk you through the composition is what I'm aiming for. These lily pads in the distance, in the kind of foreground, sorry, rather than the distance, leading the eye up to the tree, and then there's a nice bit of mist, a couple of geese just adding to the scene, and a relatively simple composition, but quite nice. The sun's not quite up yet, so there's a nice bit of yellowy peach in the sky, and it's a fairly straightforward composition, but I wanted to show you kind of one of the dangers that you can fall into when you've got a relatively simple composition. So I'll go onto my screen and I'll spin you around so you can see this. So I think I've got the composition set up quite nicely. So I'll brighten that so you can see. I've got the tree right on the rule of thirds. And the stillness of the water is really helping because it's just a fantastic reflection. So I'll just take an image, and I'm going to end up with images that leave the tree. You won't see much detail in the tree, but it'll be quite a silhouette. But the reflection and the colours hopefully will make the image. But kind of, I talked about the kind of the trap you can fall into when you're photographing a single subject like this tree. One of the things that you can end up doing is thinking, oh, I know. What I'll do is I'll put the tree slap bang in the middle of the image, because you're tempted to do that, and we do that all the time. You know, if you're taking pictures of your kind of loved ones or your family or a person, you tend to want to stick them right in the middle of the frame, and we've kind of been programmed into that. And it's the same is true if you're taking a picture of something in isolation, like a tree. Sometimes it works, but more often than not, having the main subject right in the middle of the frame isn't the best composition. So always, if you come across a situation like this where you've got a single tree and a great reflection, don't be tempted to kind of just focus on the tree and put it in the middle of your frame. So what I'll actually do is I'll take an image with the tree right in the middle, and I'll put it next to the one I've just taken where the tree was on the rule of thirds. In fact, I'll take another one, so it's a comparison of images taken at about the same time, and hopefully might be proved wrong, and you might prefer the one with the tree in the centre. But hopefully what you'll see is it's a much nicer composition, it's more pleasing to the eye, feels more natural to have the tree just off centre a little bit. It's not a huge amount of movement in the camera, but it just makes that difference. And I wish these midges would leave me alone. So summer has really arrived in the UK. I think when I got in the car this morning, it was already about 15 degrees, and it's due to be in the high 20s today. So yeah, it has arrived, but that means the midges come out. So I might take a couple more here. Sun is almost coming to the point where it'll be casting its light on the lake. So take a couple more here, and then maybe have a wander around the Tarn a bit. So it's 6:30. So 2 hours since I arrived at Tarn Hows, and probably kind of the end of the photography here. I don't know if you can see this. You can see the sun is well up now, and sorry if I'm pointing you in the direction. I'll try and going to use my body to block it out. The tree is over in the distance that I was photographing. So I did my photography there, and then I've walked all the way around the tarn, and didn't really spot anything that caught my eye in terms of composition. Some kind of nice composition, but because the sun is up, far too harsh. The light was too harsh, and that really answers the question where some people say, why did you bother getting here at 4:30? Well, two reasons. First, it's all about light. So wanted to be here before the sun came up, and gives me that opportunity to capture that lovely glow and the nice colours before the sun breaches the horizon. If I was back in the same position now, I couldn't take those images that I took this morning, just because it would be far too harsh. And it's really difficult, particularly in conditions like this when there's not a cloud in the sky. It's difficult to take landscape photographs with those really harsh lights and conditions. And the second reason I was here so early is there's nobody else about. Tarn Hows is a really popular tourist spot, but I'm the only person here. And not that I'm antisocial, well, I am a bit, but it does make life a little bit more difficult if there's lots of people about. It's the school holidays are starting next week, so if I was here this time or during the day next week, I imagine the place will be absolutely rammed. So that's the two reasons I was here early. So end of my visit to Tarn Hows, just a couple of thank yous. First, thank you to Una, my wife. I had never ever been to the Lake District until I met Una when I was 22, 23. And the very first trip we made to the Lake District, we came up to Tarn Hows, and she knew it quite well. So thanks to Una for introducing me to this beautiful countryside. And then thanks to you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Quite a short one today, hopefully, apart from all my kind of waffling. Do leave a comment. Really appreciate comments. If you're not already subscribed, be great if you could. And I'm going to go and put some shorts on because it is already roasting.